What's up everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm really excited because I'm here at my salon and I'm going to be doing my niece's hair, give her a little hair makeover. We're going to be going from her blonde highlights with some money pieces back to closer to her natural but still really dimensional and brunette. So this video I'm going to be showing you how I fill the hair and also how I finish it off, still with some dimension of different brown shades throughout. And then I'm even more excited because we're actually prepping her hair today so we can color match her for some hair extensions, and we haven't quite decided what hair extensions we're going to be doing, but be sure to look out for that video as well. Before we continue, make sure you hit that subscribe button and give this video a like and turn on all notifications so you don't miss a tutorial. Now let's go ahead and get started. Alright guys, so this is my niece, and as you can see she has lots of highlights. I actually used her for a couple videos on my channel already, but we did some like rosy gold highlights last time on her, and you can see she has a money piece going on, and she's honestly just ready for something entirely new. She just kind of wants to go back closer to her natural, but all while maintaining these, you know, dimensional highlights that she's got going on. She just wants to get away from being so blonde anymore, and we are gonna make sure that she still has lots of highs and lows, but in the brunette family. All right, so now I have my niece in my chair, and I'm gonna be making sure, according to my level finder, what her natural level is. And this is really important because whatever we decide to pre-tone her with or fill her hair with, it's going to be a level lighter than our desired end result. So for example, if she wants to be a level 4, I'm going to fill her with probably a level 5 or even a level 6, and more likely I'm going to go 2 levels lighter just because I want to still create some of that dimension going on. So the best way to do this is in the back of the head, and you can see that I've split her hair down the center, and I'm actually just going to match it up to one of the shades back here. And the best way to do this is like fan out your level finder and then push it right into her hair. So based on this, she's definitely actually a level 4. And just to make sure, I'm gonna choose the level 5, just go up a level. And it's just slightly too light according to the color line that I'm using, which is Kenra color. So definitely a 4. As you can tell, this is like a super candid video. I really thought this was a very important video to share because I have another video that's all about filling, and it's really, really popular. I finished her off with like a much more warmer tone, so in this video it's gonna be much more of a natural or cooler shade, so you can really see how important pre-filling the hair is when going darker. What's really important about this level finder here is, like I mentioned, she's a natural level 4. I want to still create lots of dimension going on with her brunette shade. So in order for me to do that, I am going to fill her with a level 6. But if you look right across, this is what a level 6 is naturally. So we actually need to replace these types of tones back into the hair. And that's really, really important, even if we wanted to go to a cooler shade. So if you wanted to go to like the ashiest type of level 4 possible, you still need a little bit of copper. You might use like a golden copper or something like that. So that's where those shades are really going to differentiate as you start to decide what type of filler formula you really, really need. Now for my model today, I'm going to be filling her with still warm, but our overall end result is we just kind of like want a chocolatey brown, something really rich. Nothing super neutral, nothing super cool, just a neutral brown. So you'll really get to see how that underlying pigment that we're going to be replacing, because since she has a pre-lightened hair, we've removed all of those pre-existing tones and pigments in her hair, and now we're replacing them. And then you'll see the final shade go right on top, and it just honestly will look super seamless, and it's going to last so much longer if we do it this way versus just slapping on a DEMI permanent shade right on over. If I were to do that, basically what would happen is in about 6 to 8 weeks, most of that toner is gonna like wash out, and all of those blonde highlights are gonna start to show through a little bit. Maybe not as blonde as what she has, but they're definitely gonna show through. And what we're trying to create is a much more saturated canvas that is gonna have a lot more longevity for her in the long run, especially since we're gonna be putting in extensions in her hair in just about a week. All right, I adjusted my camera up. It was just like driving me nuts. Decided that I'm actually gonna go in with primarily 6GG in Kenra color and DEMI permanent. And I'm gonna be using a little bit of the 6C. So I want primarily my formula to be that gold. So what I love about the gold series is it's double the gold pigment, and which is perfect for filling. And then I'm gonna be using my 6C for that copper effect, that copper that's missing out of her hair. Now I don't wanna go in primarily with this because copper is always gonna take over gold. It's just the way it is because copper has a little bit of red in it. So the ratio to this is probably gonna be 3/4 GG to 1/4 C, and then we're gonna process her, and I'll show you the whole process once we get there. Now the reason why I am using DEMI permanent is because it's also ammonia free. It's the gentlest formulation that I could possibly put on her hair over pre-lightened hair. And honestly, you guys, I'm just really excited to share this because I'm also probably gonna finish her off with a DEMI permanent shade as well. All right, one more thing before we go out. I just put it in a bowl here. I decided to mix this up 1-to-1 with a 9-volume developer. Now you can decide with Kenra color that if you want to do 1-to-1, which is going to give you maximum saturation, hence my formula here, or you can do 1-to-2 for your toning, glazing, and things like that. And it's going to be slightly more, I don't want to say translucent, but it's more translucent than the 1-to-1. So I'm going to go for 1-to-1 because we are trying to fill this baby up. All right, so now I have Melissa's hair. We're ready to do her application. So in order for me to do this fill formula really, really quickly, I'm actually gonna start applying from the bottom and working my way up. I just find that this is like literally the quickest way to get in her color. So I'm just gonna take a clip and literally just start applying. Now she doesn't have too much going on back here, but I'm still gonna apply because she does have a little bit of blonde going on. Not too much, it's more towards this bottom, so that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be spot filling, if you will.
I know, I'm just saying, on the microwave.
And I'm taking pretty large sections. Now, if you're working with somebody with really thick hair, I would definitely take thinner sections, but her hair's pretty fine, so I'm not too concerned or worried. I just want to make sure that I go up high enough to color where those blonde pieces end for my fill formula, because the rest of her hair is definitely like a level 6, so when we get ready to do her final shade, it's not going to be like such a big deal. And then another little tip here is make sure that you are using a comb to comb through to make sure that you have even distribution of your color. So like right now, I just combed through this section, for example, and there's not enough color like right here. So I'm gonna make sure that I thoroughly comb this out and just reapply. I wanna make sure I got enough saturation going on, because if you have uneven saturation, you're gonna have uneven color. So I'm just gonna go ahead and continue to apply this just like this throughout her entire hair, including the front. And then once she's all done, we're gonna start our timer. All right, so now I'm right here in the front, and just a little quick tip of when you're applying your color in the front, something that I like to do, I'm still working from bottom to the top, but I'm gonna take angles back, and it's not for technique, it's just simply for keeping the color off my client's face. So I'm gonna apply her color, comb it through, make sure I got nice saturation going on. And then now I can push her hair back and away from her face, and it's gonna be so much more comfortable while she's in the salon. So right here, her money piece does go up much higher. So I wanna make sure that I really saturate that line of demarcation. It's so important. Now keep in mind, I'm gonna be finishing her off in a much more neutral shade, and I did talk about that other fill video that I did a long time ago, and it has lots of questions in it. If you want to check that out, you can click right up here and check out that video. And then also comment down below if you have any questions, specific questions about filling, because filling is such a wide range of ways to do it. So this is just my technique and how I like to do it. But just a key point is if you're questioning what you should fill with, just remember it should always be 1 to 2 levels lighter than your desired end result. And depending on how warm or how cool you want to be is going to determine how much copper and red you're going to put in. The cooler you're going to be, the more gold you're going to have in your formula, the more warmer end result you want, the more copper and reds you're going to put in. All right, so she's completely applied. We're going to process her for a full 20 minutes room temperature. Then we're going to wash her, dry her, and then we're going to put on her dimensional brunette shade, which I'm so excited. All right, so as you can see, her toner or her fill formula and the pigment that we've replaced is all processed. We 100% dried her hair. You can see what that GG and copper looks like. It's very, very warm and it looks really beautiful. But now we're gonna get ready to cool this down a little bit and then create some dimension. Now, something that I decided to discuss with her prior to go over the different swatches of hair extensions and what her desired color is. This is what we decided in Donna hair. So we're definitely gonna be using this as our target goal. This is what we want it to be. So very dimensional brunette shades. So now I'm gonna go ahead and mix up her final shade, and I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna create those dimensional brunette shades using DEMI permanent color. And I haven't decided just yet if I'm gonna do some permanent colored brunette highlights in her. All right, so I went to the back room, looked at my color book, and I decided last minute this is what I'm gonna do. At first I was gonna do all DEMI permanent just to kind of keep it nice, healthy, and the integrity and shape, but overall her hair is really great shape. So for her base color, so it's gonna go all over her roots and then on some of the pieces throughout, especially in the back, we're gonna be using 4N 1-to-1 with DEMI permanent, but I'm just gonna throw in a few highlights, if you will, or in this case, just dimension. And I'm gonna go in with 5B. Now I really love the light reflection of this rich chocolatey brown the 5B gives me, and I'm using permanent over her filled hair because I really want the most light reflection and a little bit of brighter effect out of my 5B in a permanent. And I feel like if I went in with DEMI, it might be a little bit too much deposit and saturation for my liking and not as much dimension that the permanent can give me. So I'm gonna be mixing this up 1-to-1 with 10 volume developer, and I'm just gonna throw in a few of these pieces throughout the top and then pull some bigger pieces throughout the side, and let's go ahead and show you what that looks like. Okay, so I have her separated here right in the front where that muddy piece used to be at. So what I'm gonna do here is apply that 4N and blend it into that 5B permanent. And in the rest of the back here, I'm still gonna work from the bottom all the way up, applying my 4N from roots to ends on some pieces, and some other pieces we're gonna do 4N into 5B, but let me show you how I go ahead and do that. So first, my first section here, I'm just gonna go ahead and take a zigzag section. Gonna pin that right on up. Okay, so now I'm gonna take that 4N in DEMI, and I'm actually just gonna go ahead and put this right onto her root area. And then what's really cool about this technique is it's really, really easy. That's what I love about it. Now, all I'm gonna do though is I'm gonna separate, actually you can do like a whole bunch of things. You can do just straight lines since we already did that zigzag, but I'm gonna like make it even a little bit more purposeful of zigzag underneath. And I'm actually just gonna clip this away for right now because it already has the color on here. So all of this bottom right here is just gonna be 4N from roots to ends. Again, make sure to comb through so you got really good saturation throughout. And you do want to keep a towel handy so that way you can wipe your hands when doing this technique. Even though the colors are so similar, you just don't want to mix too much of that 4N with the 5B. So now what I'm going to do is, I already have that 4B right there. I'm just going to take my permanent formula and I'm going to apply that right on over this. Now, a quick little tip is when you're doing this, even though the colors are really similar, I don't really want them to get smashed together on down below. So I'm actually just gonna push these to the side, or you can even split this in half and have them just chill there on the side. And now I'm gonna go ahead and move right on up. And I'm just gonna take another zigzag section. Now, when I get ready to go towards the top section, I will be placing these permanent hair color pieces in foils because they're gonna be a little thinner than what I'm doing down here. This down here is just a little bit more dimensional. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish applying this back here, and I'll do one more for you just so like you see and it makes a whole bunch of sense. But I'm literally just zigzagging my sections, putting the 4N DEMI right onto the root. And then I'm gonna take another zigzag section right under that zigzag that I created. This is gonna be my 5B, and then the rest of this is gonna be the DEMI permanent. Now, really quickly, some people keep asking me what tools I use. I actually love using Framar brushes. They are literally my favorite. Even this one is from Framar. And I love it because then I don't have to like ruin my actual combs that I use for hair cutting on my color application. So you could use this brush. I personally like the Big Daddy. That's this one right here. So it's pretty large. This is typically my go-to when doing global hair color like this. But when I'm doing her highlights right here, like this little section right here, actually let me wipe my hands, already breaking my own rules. So when you get ready to take down this section right here, you can kind of like fan this down with your hands so that 4N comes down just a little bit. And now I'm going to use this brush. This is just going to differentiate those two colors for me, so that's how I know which one's which in my bowl. I have the pink brush for her 5B. But you can kind of use, honestly, they have so many brushes. If you want to know more about Framar products and even the foils, I'm going to be using some really cute cheetah print foils in a minute. You can head to the link in my description in my bio, or link in the description of this video, and you will see a link to the Framar products. Okay, so I got this whole back section done. You can see I have her highlights on the side and then that 4N throughout the center. And so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this brand new weaving comb. I'm actually really excited about it. This one is by Framar also. Again, the link is in the bio if you wanna snag these up. But they basically will weave for you, making your job really easy, especially when doing stuff like this. So in order for me to do this, I'm actually gonna go ahead and section this out right now so that way I can have a nice clean section and I don't get a bunch of color on this. So I got my slice going on here, and all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my comb right in on this, and you can already see it like separates it for you. Okay, so you're gonna hold it out and then insert this and pull this down, and it's gonna separate it for you. And then all you do is put your finger underneath that and separate it. And voila. So you can see we got a nice weave out of that, which is awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this aside for right now, because like I said, I wanna keep this nice and clean. And I'm just gonna put in a few of these foils. So that's gonna be my 4N into the 5B. So let me just kind of further show you how I do that. So I know this video is a little bit more different than what I typically do, like my voiceovers, but I get tons of questions like, oh, can you slow down here? Can you show me a little bit more on this section? So I'm hoping that you guys like this style of video. If you do, let me know down below in the comments, or otherwise if you like the voiceovers, let me know that too. Look how cute these cheetah print foils are, OMG, so cute. Okay, so all I'm gonna do, I like to fold the little lip over and put it right into my foil. So I'm just gonna insert that right there. So now you can see that really clean weave that I got going on. I'm just gonna put that 4N right on the top. And then I'm gonna blend that right into the 5B and permanent. So something to note here, I put that 4N right there. And this 5B, I'm just putting it basically like a half an inch away from where I finished applying that 4N. And now I'm just gonna stroke this up. And then finish my saturation. Now the reason why I decided to go in with this type of application versus what I did underneath is the underneath is gonna be so much more chunkier but still dimensional. I want these to be really, really fine. So, and the whole reason is because we're gonna go in with some extensions later on. So I want this to have the ultimate blend and subtlety towards the top once we put the extension install. I'm a trifolder, I always trifold. Also, the benefit of trifolding is the color that you put on the ends is not gonna touch the color that's at the very top, meaning it's not gonna blend. So that's why I trifold everything, including my liner. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and continue putting these foils in throughout the rest of the sections, all the hair I have left. I'm leaving that chunk out for the very, very last section, but you can see my subsections here are about a 1/2 inch wide, and I'm gonna still go on with that technique by taking my slice right on top, using my weaving comb, literal weaving comb, separating that out. Because A, this is like a light comb, I don't want to get it stained. I want to keep it looking pretty. There's nothing worse than using like tools that look dirty. All right, so now I got this money piece here. You can't tell, we took it from the center part where she normally does it all the way down like this. So really, really simple. So I'm just gonna get that 4N right onto her root, but I don't wanna take it too far down. I'm just kind of like, if you can visualize like a root tap, that's exactly what I'm trying to create here. I'm not trying to bring this 4N too far down. I wanna keep this still kind of like a money piece, like what she had, but more subtle. So once I get this 4N right here, right onto her base, I'm then gonna go in with the permanent formula on those ends. And then the other benefit of doing this color is because she wants something so much more low maintenance than what she's had in the past, she's literally just gonna need a little bit of glazing. And what's even great too is once we get ready to put those hair extensions in, we're probably gonna go in with some care links. So the care links typically will last much longer. They literally last for months. So we really want something as low maintenance as possible since she's gonna make that investment into her hair extensions. I'm just gonna blend that line in, bring that back.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And do the same for this top section and then the other side. Now, if it becomes really difficult to lay this hair down this way, what you could do is just lay down a foil for yourself right on her face, or on the side of her face, I should say, and that will definitely help as well. So this is kind of like what I do. And it will stick there just fine. All right, so she is all done being applied. I'm actually going to let it process for about 30 minutes, room temperature, and the reason why I'm doing 30 instead of 20 is because we have that permanent going on. Now, I did finish it off with just 3 foils on top of baby lights, and then that money piece of the 4N into 5B, so still super subtle, but lots of dimension, and we're just gonna let her process. Keep in mind, it is not progressive color, so it's not going to keep getting darker, but it will continue to deposit as far as the DEMI permanent, which is totally fine. We want a really rich chocolatey brown. We're gonna style her and then do a final color match so we can get those hair extensions ordered ASAP. And yeah, let's process her and fingers crossed it looks pretty. And here's the final result of my hair transformation, taking my model from her really blonde highlights into a gorgeous dimensional brunette shade. So I just want to give you a little recap. We went in with a filler formula using 6GG and 6C and DEMI permanent, and then for her final color I decided to use DEMI permanent for her base color, but then added in some highlights, and especially around that money piece, using permanent in 5B with 10 volume developer. And honestly, I love how it looks. And now we're gonna get ready to color match her for her Carolink extensions. I'm so excited. Her hair is gonna be so much more fuller and longer, and OMG, she's ready for the start of her healthy hair journey. Super excited. And I really hope you enjoyed this hair tutorial. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe. Oh my god, I got a hair in my face or something. And comment down below what your favorite part of this entire tutorial was, and I'll be sure to respond. You can also find me on my website at morellamanelli.com, as well as all of my other social channels like Instagram, Facebook, and even TikTok, all under Morella Manelli. And make sure to sign up for my newsletter so you can get free education right to your inbox. And plus you can check out my other courses that I have available online. And overall, I hope you enjoyed this hair tutorial, so I will see you in the next video.